Good morning, gang. Happy Tuesday morning. All right, let me ask you a question. How much of your freedom, how much of your privacy, how much of your liberty are you willing to give up to get the country back? This is an interesting scenario here I'm about to tell you about. Of course, it's not getting squat in the way of media coverage. It's been very quiet, but go figure, people find it. Our liberties, our privacy is being taken away from us. Y'all know as well as I do, if the cops want to come into your house, they need a warrant. If they want to search your car, unless of course they have probable cause, they need a warrant. If they take your cell phone and want to search it, they need a warrant. We've all seen the stories where cops are like, open your phone, we want to check it. No. Okay, get a warrant and then you can do it. But they'll try to force you. If you do it voluntarily, that's fine. So now bring in GPS, for example. We know that you take that guy up in the northeast or northwest who killed his kids, and they were trying to ping his cell phone, trying to find him, location, et cetera, right? But they needed a warrant to do it. Back a couple of years ago, during the Biden administration, ICE and Border Patrol wanted to start tracking people's cell phones. And Biden signed an executive order, said, no, that's an invasion of privacy, can't do it. Okay? Trump has now turned that around. And the government has now just signed a contract, $2 million, not super expensive, to buy a software from a company called Paragon Solutions that will track location data for hundreds of millions of phones. Okay, there's 350 million people in this country. How many cell phones are there? All right, we're talking pretty much everybody. Now, some people may say, hey, this is a good thing. Its whole point is to find illegals, all right? To track them, to track criminals. But how long is it until it's abused and it's used to track you? This is where I say it's a slippery slope. I want to track criminals, I want to track illegals, but I think having a warrant is a good way of doing it. I don't like the idea of tracking everybody. And people say, why? If you're not a criminal, you have nothing to worry about, right? Okay, there's some logic in that. Until you start to think that, James Comey was the head of the FBI. Hillary Clinton had private servers. Depends on who's running the government. And I guess the question comes in, and you can ask this to either side, do you trust the people in government? And the answer you will get, inevitably, is no. All right? Because they will figure out a way to manipulate the law to their benefit, to your detriment. But see, this goes further. And this is what I want everybody to think about. And again, this is one of those situations where, how do you protect yourself? And if anybody's got good ideas, please let me know, other than throwing away a cell phone or not using one anymore. But you get into now Paragon's graphite program, okay, can invade the cell phone and extract its contents, even from encrypted apps. So start thinking about this. Not only can they find your location data, GPS, not like Google doesn't track that anyway, that's pretty easy. But now they can quietly get into your phone and take a look at your photos. Take a look at the playlist of music you have. Take a look at what websites you've visited. Take a look at your bank account, your credit cards, etc., etc., etc. Anything you keep on your phone, they can access. Whether or not they can manipulate the data, that I don't know. But this is where it gets really bad, is could they get into my bank account? Don't say they won't do it, okay? Ask a whole bunch of truckers up in Canada a couple of years ago about bank accounts in the government, right? They'll shut it down. What if this gets into the hands of somebody with bad intentions? Whether it be a criminal, well, they're all going to be criminals if they got bad intentions, but whether it be somebody who's trying to scam you, hello, India, whether it be somebody who's one of these credit card thieves who tries to buy Bitcoin with your debit card, an RFID scanner in the grocery store line or something like that, or whether it turns out to be some rogue operative who is trying to get bank account information to make campaign contributions. Kind of like, Act Blue did there, that they got busted for millions and millions and millions of dollars of stolen money out of bank accounts, right? All on your cell phone. People live, literally, their entire life is on their cell phone. We've got a couple of generations of people right now who can't get their nose out of their cell phone, who every conversation they have, whether they're sitting right next to the person or not, is on their cell phone. Answer yourself this question. Would you be comfortable if anybody else got into your phone right now and looked at everything that was in there? Your chat conversations, your emails, your bank accounts, your browser history, etc., etc., etc. There's probably stuff in there that you don't want the world knowing, okay? Certainly I don't want the world knowing my bank account balance or something like that. But maybe things are worse. I get the intention to stop criminality. But then I bring this question to you. And I've said this many times. You can go from your house to the end of the block and you're going to be on camera somewhere. Somebody's got a security camera, a Ring doorbell, whatever. You're going to be on camera somewhere. But call the cops and say somebody stole the big wheel out of, my kid's big wheel out of the front yard. And say, I've got it on camera. It doesn't matter. They're not going to do anything. Now, of course, if it's a assassination attempt like Utah Valley University, sure, they're going to want to see every camera. But who's going to monitor everything that's on a phone for hundreds of millions of people? Nobody. If they're going to monitor somebody, they're going to have a reason. There's no reason for them to monitor me. I don't do anything illegal. So nobody's going to look. But there was no reason to monitor Tyler Robinson either, right? Just saying. Do they even look at the data? This is just a way to take away a freedom take away your privacy, take away your liberty without a warrant. I'm all for deporting every single illegal, finding them and getting them out. I'm all for arresting, incarcerating, or executing every cartel member that we can find. I want to see crime stopped in this country. But I also want to do it protecting the rights, the freedoms, the privacy of those of us who aren't criminals. This is a slippery slope. Because what do they say we'll do next? Remember, it's the government. They always get an inch and everybody, oh, gee, this is the reason we need to do this. And then it expands crazy. Obamacare is a perfect example. Okay. And then all of a sudden it's this behemoth that you can't control anymore. They've already collected all that data. You can't really say, get rid of your cell phone. Because, again, look at how this is going. England and digital ID, you're going to walk around and have to show your phone everywhere. So you're going to have one. But in the process, they can also access all the data on your phone. This is how CBDC starts. This is how a surveillance state starts. This is a problem. I've told you many times, I don't care what political party. They do something dumb, I'm going to call it out. This is something I'm absolutely against. I want to see criminals get caught, but not at the expense of you or me having our lives an open book for some criminal in Washington. Again, I go back to Jim Comey or Hillary Clinton, thumbing through your life going, gee, he went to a Trump rally. Gee, he went to make fun of people at a No Kings rally. Maybe we should make his life miserable. Because when the tide turns in Washington, and one day it will, now all of a sudden people who think, oh, this is great, are going to be screaming bloody murder going, but. It's called precedent. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. Pinball out.